Hi, it's me again with Corel tips and tricks. Somebody wanted to engrave this church, and just the front of the church. I added the side of the church. That's all they want to engrave. Now, this is I've converted it to grayscale. If you're gonna, you need to really do some research or use a program called like Photograph. This might engrave. Sometimes this might work. So I would test it first, and if not, get back to me and I'll run it through Photograph for you. This is one of the easier. I do not like to, let me make sure that doesn't have anything behind it. I do not like to trace by hand. Yeah, the church is just there. It's just I converted it to a grayscale bitmap. So what you want to do, this thing's quite large. We're going to make our nudge factor 45 inches. You can make it smaller, but it doesn't really matter because you can make it smaller when you do this. And also for the one I'm doing it for, I leveled the church a little bit afterwards. So what I'm going to do with this selected, just to make it a little bit easier, I'm going to take my crop tool and I'm going to crop out a little bit of the church. Don't really have to do that. But now I'm going to take it with it selected and go to the transparency tool. You know, it's kind of hard to see sometimes, but it's always right there. And I'm going to make it transparent to help you draw lines. You can still see it. And then I would just start somewhere. And, you know, I don't know if you want to continue this sign or whatever, and then just take your 2-point line. It's a little bit more difficult because it's at an angle. But if you just draw a straight line from right there to right there, I'm not going to take a lot of time on this, but you just want to continue the nodes and keep zooming in, zooming out, and so you can get the whole thing, and then go to the top. And you don't want to go to that peak of the church. You want to go just to the top of the roof. And then this is probably the most difficult, time-consuming part, is that one's a little bit off, but we can fix it later. So just kind of do these angles. Now on the cross itself, you can actually see the side of it, but we want to do it all. So I'm going to take my shape tool and bring this up a little bit higher. Then grab my 2-point line, and I'm just going to go. And I'm just clicking the mouse, my left mouse button, when I get to where I want to be. And you can always, if you just, make a little bit of mistake, it's almost easier to kind of keep going and then come back later and fix some of your places that you're not close enough. So this takes, if I didn't have to talk, I could probably do it in a minute. So it does take a little bit of time. But all I'm trying to do is make something he's having trouble. I tried to trace it, but it just didn't trace with the flip. See, this way you can get rid of all these trees. So you're just doing the outline of the church. You don't have to, do the gutters or anything else. And then go from there to there and, put a little pizzazz around the gutters themselves. And I'm going to leave the gutters and I'm going to go here. And then I'm going to just do a couple of clicks, kind of get in the shape of the gutter. And then we're going to go down. And you could leave that building or take that building away. And then I'm just going to go across the front. And you want to make sure that your lines are touching. So we're going to take our shape tool and put this line straight down. Now I'd strongly suggest taking the virtual segment delete key and deleting those lines. Now, I think it worked pretty well, but you never know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure you don't have any leaks, I'm going to draw a rectangle. I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool. Doesn't really matter. Now what I want to do is move that out of the way. I do not want to get that outline. I want just the Smart Fill. Now, because I'm nudging, I can nudge it. Matter of fact, we're going to nudge it kind of over and down so the page won't get in it. Now with everything selected, as a matter of fact, what we can do now is take the picture, go back to the transparency tool, put it back to 0. Now select both items and intersect it. And what that did, it did that right there. Now, that might engrave. If I was going to do it, you might want to look at some of the places. I think I did pretty good. Like there's a little bit of blue sky there. You could fix that, but depending on how big you're going to make it, I don't think it really matters. And then if you want to straighten the church up, just click on your rotation, and I'd even bring in some indexing lines. Bring in indexing lines and put it like right there. Let me zoom in. We're about the same distance off, but we're not perfect. So I'm going to grab that indexing line and put it right there. Then click on that and grab your rotation and put it, okay. What you want to do is when you do that, move your center rotation to that corner and then kind of zoom in. One thing good about it, you can zoom in and you can still get it right back and then put it on that indexing line. If I was going to engrave this, I would probably, well, if I was going to engrave it, I'm going to run it through PhotoGrave, but I'd go ahead and convert it to a bitmap and make it grayscale. And now you can see, well, taking my, it's still big. This thing's 21 by 21. And then at that time, see, that's pretty sharp. That might actually, if you'll take a scrap piece of wood and run a couple of tests on something smaller and see how it looks. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.